quote, a red herring thrown by a desperate entity. Now, that's the way the chairman of India's stock exchange regulator has angrily dismissed claims by a US firm that she's guilty of a conflict of interest. Hindenburg Research alleges that she invested in offshore funds linked to one of India's biggest companies, the Adani Group. The conglomerate, for its part, has also rejected the claims.
The latest allegations by Hindenburg are malicious, mischievous and manipulative selections of publicly available information to arrive at predetermined conclusions for personal profiteering with wanton disregard for facts and the law. We completely reject these allegations against the Adani Group, which are a recycling of discredited claims that have been thoroughly investigated, proven to be baseless and already dismissed by the Honourable Supreme Court in January 2024.
The new allegations come after Hindenburg also published last year a report accusing the Indian company of financial irregularities and stock market manipulation. The claims led to a sharp fall in the value of Adani shares. And following this, India's Supreme Court directed the Indian stock market regulator to carry out an investigation. Well, let's learn more about this because we need to. Crossing live to an advocate at the Supreme Court of India, Vijay Sardana, now joining us here on RT International. It's so good to get you on the program. And thank you very, very much for joining us. This story, it's kind of resurfacing now after a few months. What do you make of the claims? And do you think, Mr. Sardana, they have grounds?
First of all, good afternoon to all of you. See, what is happening in this case is everybody knows that Indian stock market is doing very well. Indian economy is becoming stronger with every passing day. There is an attempt to malign the growth of India and Indian stock markets by raising certain issues. Hindenburg released a report about 2 years ago, almost 1.5 years ago, which was thoroughly investigated. Please appreciate one thing, that in India, all the transactions are transparent because everything is digitized. We do not use any papers. We do not use any physical transaction in stock markets because the regulations in India are very, very strict. And all those people, those who have invested in Adani or any stock or in any instrument in Indian stock market has to meet the Indian legal system. And without having proper KYC and other obligations which are filed by the investors, no one can participate in Indian stock market. So first thing, we have to be very clear to all your viewers that Indian stock market regulations are one of the most strictest. Indian stock market is fully transparent and digitized because nothing is on paper or any other form of transactions. And number three, that all at multiple levels there are, you can say, investigation goes on, and around the year there is a close monitoring of all the transactions which is taking place in India. First at exchange level, then at regulatory level, and then there is the oversight of various committees. So this is a very, very serious issue which we have to appreciate.
Vijay, sorry, I do apologise. I do apologise for interrupting you. And I know you were on a roll there, but I just wanted to ask, you know, there must be something going on here, Mr. Sardana, that we're not seeing. As you said, about 18 months ago, this Hindenburg report came out. Now these allegations have all come out. But I don't know. It seems like it's a hit piece. It's a hit piece against India. Who's behind the curtains here, and what's the real objective? What's the motivation to go after India?
Motivation is very simple, but nobody wants to see strong India. This is a global politics we have to understand. See, if you go back into the history of global politics, they were power centers. Now, with the growth of India, growth of China, they are, facing pressure because their dominance in the world politics is shrinking or becoming less effective. Now, on the other side, India is also world's biggest market. We have about 1.44 billion people. In this case, everybody wants to be part of this growth story of India, but they do not want India to become stronger, because stronger India means, like many parts of the world and many countries are facing threat from the China, they are assuming that if Asia becomes a power center, India, China, Russia, Japan, Philippines, Indonesia, this will shift the global balance from Europe and America to Asia.
But it's already happening, isn't it,
nobody is
Vijay?
liking.
It's already, I'm sorry to jump in, but it's already happening, isn't it? And I think you're alluding to that as well. You know, this multipolar world, you basically mentioned the BRICS, the Global South, also the ASEAN to some degree. You know, it's amazing to me, you know, the allegations, not just against the Adani group, they're also going after the Indian regulator as well. And the regulator saying that the Hindenburg research is connected, get this, Vijay, the Hindenburg research is connected to an American hedge fund with ulterior motives. So I'll ask you one more time, who's pulling the strings here, Vijay?
See, there are two aspects to look at it. One is definitely there are vested interest in commercial market or stock market. They want to capitalize in the form of, rising equity. What Hindenburg did last year was they released a short selling. Their agenda is short selling. So any company which is a promising, where stock market is booming, shares are doing very well, they consider them as a target, and then they release a short selling, because majority of retail investors do not do their own research. They depend on various research agencies. Now, it is a information arbitrage, or I will say that information misrepresentation in many cases. So they took this opportunity, created a story around it, and says that this growth is because of various vested interests, and which led to the crash in Indian stock market. And ultimately, who benefited? The same short seller and their clients, because they knew it. After the report, there will be crash, and they will make money out of this, clandestine manner. So this is one thing. Now, but after their report was rejected, found no evidence, all the evaluations were done at regulatory level and court level, they were not able to justify their own acts. Now they have decided to target, when they were not able to target the systems, now they are able to, now they're trying to target the individuals. And they thought that why not we target the highest authority in regulator, that is chairman of the regulatory board. Now, this is a planned game. Now, tell me one thing. Regulatory chairman is not going to be a common man on the street. The person has to be expert with a great experience of financial markets. Now, in previous career years, she is one of the very promising and one of the most educated and thorough person to lead such institution. Now, if in my early ages or in my career, before I got this responsibility as a chairman, if I was investing in stocks or funds around the world, and she was based in Singapore, I know her very, very clearly and very professional. I had a chance to interact with her. She's thorough professional. After getting opportunity to become chairperson of regulatory board, she's doing fantastic work. Now raising issue of previous life, when she was managing funds, she was a banker, she was doing many other things. Now you say it is linked to this development. I think it is nothing but to create a smoke screen, to mislead the public, and to create a doubt about the integrity of Indian regulatory system.
There we go. And there it is. There it is, Vijay. You just nailed it for me right then and there. It's a strong comment to wrap up our conversation here. Vijay Sardana is an advocate at the Supreme Court of India. And as you say, India is on the front line of this blossoming multipolar world. It is one of the major players now, economically and strategically, as the world goes forward. Mr. Sardana, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.